recorded live in front of a studio audience. It's the Side Quest, your weekly journey into the beautiful world of video games, video game culture, and the people that enjoy such things. We are your friendly hosts from the website known as SideQuesting. I'm Dolly Domofsky. Joining me is Taylor Bliss right here.
It's me.
It's you. And Zach Quest.
Hey, it's me.
Merry Christmas, gents.
Thanks.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing all right.
Recovering. Look at the beautiful beards on both of you guys. Love it. Love to see it.
Where's your beard, Dolly?
I had shaved the day before Christmas, so it's still just
why?
It's just grows slow. Well, I'm planning on shaving my head. January 1st, I'm chopping it all off.
He's tired of it. He's tired of the jokes.
I have hair. I'm just like, you know what? Cut it all off and then just let it.
Has your daughter been ribbing you about it? She's been like,
totally.
Has she really?
Dad, she's like, what hair are you shaving off? And I'm like, yeah, good call. That's a good point.
Yikes.
At least my bald spots won't show up as much. But yeah, how was your breaks, dude?
This is my break starting now.
Oh, nice.
Starting today.
Yeah. Taylor's on his break, and I've been on a couple month-long breaks.
Nice.
Yeah, today's first day. I already beat one game.
Nice. What game?
Norco.
We'll talk about it.
All right, we'll get to it.
We'll talk about it. Well, there isn't a lot of news this week, so there really isn't.
There's one big piece of news.
Yeah, go ahead.
A recent IGN interview, Kojima plans on becoming an AI to stick around after death. So, this will take us between minute 2 and minute 42 of the podcast. So let's get started.
Right, let's dissect it. So there's NFTs, right?
Yeah. All right. So Bridges.
No, it's Kojima doing Kojima stuff. Yeah, Zach's rubbing his eyes because that's exactly what happens whenever Kojima opens his mouth. He is just a beautiful bastard. But it's just Koji. We'll have to have him on the show.
If we have the
we'll have to.
If we have
the AI version of him.
If we can have a chat AI that can basically write anything pretty well, we could potentially have a Kojima one in the future.
True. That's basically it. There really wasn't anything else. I looked around for news and it's like nothing. Just
big
recovering from family stuff. We won't have anything until next week, when things slowly start to get back into it. And really the beginning of the year,
pretty slow.
Like many other industries, this is the break week. Christmas and New Year's is the 5 days that most people take off. So yeah, it's always skeleton crews. Outlined by the fact I follow the Steam Deck subreddit, and things aren't going so good over there. Valve dropped a couple of big patches. They dropped 3.4 on December 22nd or 23rd. And what that meant, and because Valve hasn't exactly launched any consoles, at least as far as I've been keeping track. So what happened is that people opened them for Christmas, and they didn't launch because they required an update immediately. And it was pre-set up that it demanded to be connected to the internet to be able to update. So the issue there, of course, is the fact that Valve is notorious in that every holiday they always go on a big, everybody's out, everybody, and then they go on a big trip. Usually it's like Hawaii or some shit. That ain't getting fixed until the end of this week at the earliest. Lots of suggestions of USB cord for tethering, and lots of people have found workarounds like that. Anything they can get it online will work. But obviously the device only has Wi-Fi built in, so unless you can somehow hardwire it so that it gets a dedicated IP to get online, it just it don't work.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, classic stuff. Any other news, Dally?
Nothing. That's it. That's all I had. I didn't have anything. I was happy not having anything. But yeah, like I said, slow week. Like I said, I just enjoyed family time and trying to play a few games, and that's it. Like I said, it's all good stuff. Yeah, no, it's like you mentioned it. There's this is the slow week for everyone, and you'll see some announcements the very beginning of next week. And by beginning, I don't mean Monday the 2nd. I mean Tuesday the 3rd. A lot of people take that Monday off for the observed holiday. At least in the U.S. they do. So you'll see announcement. I don't know of any announcements. I'm just hypothetical. But if you're going to see announcements, they're going to start popping in the 2nd of January and go forward from there. So
and usually, even then, those are like super small games.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the only thing that we know is happening that's big-ish, I guess, is the PSVR 2 launch, and that's already been talked about, and that's in February. And people, I don't know, hasn't been any buzz about that because people are kind of cooked on VR, especially expensive tethered to PS5 VR stuff. But yeah, I don't know. There's no stuff to talk about except for games that we've been playing, which is the perfect time of year. So we're going to talk about the stuff we're going to play, and then we're going to do some predictions and things that we're looking forward to for 2023. So it should be a relatively light and enjoyable show if you like video games, which I know you guys do. I do. It'll be a fun time. So let's get with some of the stuff that we're playing. I'm going to go first this time because I never ever go first, and I'm excited to go first. One of the games that I've been playing, so I've been playing a lot of games in handheld, obviously. So Steam Deck and Switch. By the way, did you guys saw your Steam Play or Replay, the yearly replay thing? And Taylor and I are like, okay, yeah, 30 to 50 games. All right, sounds good. And Zach was like 8,000 games he somehow played using the idle thing.
I don't even know.
This man's farming cards.
Yes. I was doing the same thing. That's why I didn't realize that I had let's see, like 75 hours in Ion Fury on I'm like, I don't even remember playing that game. I remember I did play it on the Steam Deck, but apparently I had like 18 play sessions on the Steam Deck for like a total of, I don't know, 20 hours or something. I don't remember that. I don't remember. I booted it up once, but whatever. Anyways, yeah. So that was fun to see, just because got to see some of your, some of the cool
Stardew
stuff.
was my number one.
Damn, you were. Like, I swear, like I check in to see what you're playing when I'm open up my Steam, and I don't remember. Like, I swear to God, you were just playing it at night. Like you just you're waking up at 2 a.m. to start a sesh.
Oh, I found a guide on how to do like a perfect year one like run.
Okay.
So I just like followed this guide religiously down to the RNG, like where to stand and where to do this. So I did that for a bit, and
Nice.
I started a new farm. I was like, I don't want to follow those rules. I just want to do my own thing. And then I put in a couple 100 hours.
That's it. Okay, I finally started playing that game. I owned it when it first launched, and then like I maybe put like an hour into it back then. But then I finally got into it this year, and yeah, sunk a good amount of hours. It's good. It's good game. Great game. I am playing a retro-looking game that is not on Steam. I don't believe it's on Steam. It's on itch and itch and Switch. Platforms that rhyme. And this game was announced way earlier this year as an indie, and I purchased it recently because it was on one of those indie sales on the Switch. And that game is Electhead.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a cool little platformer. Has like, it looks a little bit like Mega Man 2 from a visual standpoint, but it's just such an awesome little puzzle game, and it's very quick. You can like knock this game out in like, I don't know, an hour maybe at most. Because I just sat there watching 1899 and playing this game. But it essentially what this game is, and I'll be pausing it as we're going through here. Here, I'll start from this point. So you're this little dude, right? And you guys can see my pointer. All right.
Yeah.
You're this little guy, and anything he touches, damn it, anything he touches gets electrified because he's basically a little battery, a living battery. And some things, if they're electrified, like in this case, it extended this platform out, and you can walk across here. Cool. You kind of learn. This is sort of like the earlier portion of the game where you're learning stuff. All right, no problem. That's kind of neat. And then you jump up, it disappears, and it's no longer, because it's no longer electrocuted. You can fall through. These guys right here, your goal is to jump over them in some ways. So right now, they can shoot to the ceiling. So if you jump up, let me rewind that there. If you jump up over those guys, whatever, then they'll.
I think we get it. When you electrify the surfaces, it changes their properties, and so you have to play with whether or not the surface is electrified to solve puzzles. Basically,
bam, you nailed it, and it's such you beautifully put it. Or otherwise you can die. It's just a very very easy to understand mini Metroidvania style game, because you do go back to certain areas, you can unlock certain things and get little skill sets and stuff. You can throw your head later on, like you saw the little thing there, chuck your head and then move your body around as you're kind of running around to activate stuff and then get back to your head, because your head is basically the actual battery part. So real fun game. I've been totally enjoying it. I highly recommend picking it up. I
got a game dev buddy on who will basically recommend this game every single time. Like, yes. It's just like I just see him say it like probably, I don't know, almost once a month. Is like, by the way, Elechead still exists and you don't own it. Go buy it.
Yes, and the cool thing about this, you're throwing ahead. This is a great game for someone who is learning game dev, because you mentioned a game dev buddy, because it speaks to puzzle solving 101 and how we interact with. It's all about interacting with the environment. And in fact, there are levels of this game that are genius levels of design. I think this designer is from is it from Japan, or it's somewhere in the East? I'm not 100% sure which country, but there are genius levels of design in this game that remind me a lot of World 1-1 in Mario Brothers, like that infamous, like Miyamoto designed it so when the turtle's coming at you, or the Goomba, whatever's coming at you, you want to jump over it, but it's aligned perfectly, so you jump to hit the block and the little power-up comes out, and you're like, oh, and you can land. And so this has that feel where it's designed for you to just go do stuff, and you learn automatically as you just walk across. And I love that about this game, because there's no hand holding. It's literally just go and do things, and you will learn and get better as you go along. And again, it's great for game dev or budding game designers who are looking to get into the craft, and it's real easy to understand. So yeah, pick it up. I'm all about it.
It's been on Steam for quite a bit too.
Is it on Steam now? Okay.
Yeah, it has been for a while. And you were just to confirm, yes, it was by a Japanese developer.
Awesome. And I think it was early access for a while, and like
might have been, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it's excellent. Pick it up. It's a great game. And then the other game I've been playing is not an indie game, but it is a. We got some folks saying hi. Hey there. 8 minutes late. There you go. Well, you were late. Lisa, hi Lisa. The other game that I've been playing is not not an indie game, but it is about nostalgia. It is a PSP game that is now on modern consoles, and that is Crisis Core Reunion. Playing this game. I'm playing it on Switch because it was on a nice little. There was like a $10 sale or something on Switch. I picked it up. Or $10 off, whatever, at the store. So, and it looks and runs fine. Surprisingly, I don't normally say that about games that are ported over across platforms, but this one is actually. I think it's because the nature of it was just a PSP.
It's crazy what happens when it's based on a PSP game.
Yeah, it is. But it also kudos to just the original PSP game being very easy to program. But
they remade the assets. I'm playing this.
Yeah.
They remade the assets in the remake engine, which is like Unreal Engine 4, I think.
Much more scalable.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm playing it on PS5, 60 frames a second, 4K. Looks great.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. It's the same old attacks of the. I'm still not a fan of the stupid. It's
great.
Dice roll. Yeah, there's still some stuff on there that I'm not a big fan of. But
cool.
It's still a good game. It's still a fun game. It's great. I mean, I haven't finished Final Fantasy VII Remake, so I will be kind of juggling between this and Remake in the near future before the second game comes.
Just put them on Game Pass already.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen. This might come to Game Pass. I don't think Remake will come to Game Pass anytime soon. But yeah, anyways, it's cool. It's a classic. It's just great to play this game again because it was forgotten. It was kind of lost to time. Not forgotten, but it was lost to time because it was stuck on the PSP, and it was stuck on UMDs. and you couldn't get those anymore, and you couldn't get it on the Vita. I don't think, right? It wasn't downloadable.
No, well, I mean, I don't know if they offered it because there was a bunch of
PSP Go games.
There was a bunch of digitals that you could put onto Vita because I had like the PS3 portable version of Persona, but I don't know if Crisis Core was one of them or not.
I don't think Crisis Core was. I don't
think so.
But I mean, if people wanted it back.
That sounds like a silly thing that Sony would pull off, is not putting a game like this on the Vita.
I think it's probably Square more than Sony.
That's fair.
Square more than Sony. But it's great. It's a great game, a fun game, I should say. And I'm only a few hours into it, but it holds up. It still holds up. It's really story based, which I totally enjoy about it. And cool.
Yeah, it's a really easy game to like pick up and play. Because you have missions where it's like, okay, I'll go do these missions and then like I'll stop. And then because like the main story and the missions are separate things. You do the missions to like grind like materials and summons and gear and stuff. And then you have the main story, which it does a good job of like pushing you along and keeping you leveled. But yeah, it's really easy to jump in and out and play. And the story, I haven't played Crisis Core, so this is my first time playing it. And this is like, I know I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to play Remake again on my PS5 because it's a part of the PlayStation Plus collection. And then finally play the Yuffie chapter, which was exclusive for forever. So yeah, like I'm just kind of in that zone right now, but it's cool that they're like remaking these Final Fantasy VII like canon games that are actually like important to the story and redoing them in the new engine and kind of changing. There's some things they're changing too that are pretty interesting. So I'm excited to see where they go with it.
Do you think they'll ever come out with Before Crisis? That was the phone one, I think, right?
Yeah, that got delayed. It was supposed to come out like this month. So.
Before Crisis. Wait,
I don't know what game you're talking about, so I can't chime in.
It's Before Crisis. It was a mobile game that has all the Final Fantasy VII games in one, but it's a mobile game that's not this. It's like a completely like different mobile game app. It's supposed to come out this month. And they
so it's like a whole different Before Crisis. And then there was the Dirge of Cerberus. That's the other one.
They're definitely going to come out with that. That's like I would say next year. It wouldn't be a surprise because Vincent's pretty important to the storyline and the actual.
Are you talking about Ever Crisis?
Ever Crisis is the one. No, so Ever Crisis is the mobile one that's coming out, which is unrelated. Right. It's a new one. Before Crisis was a mobile game that was released around the same time as this that never made its way to the US. And never. It's a whole different game.
Okay. It's that one.
And yes,
as opposed to Final Fantasy VII : after Crisis. The one you're talking about, Dally, is before Crisis,
Correct.
Final Fantasy VII. Not the same.
There you
That
there
one,
you
okay.
go. Yep.
Yeah, so anyways, Dirge of Cerberus is definitely coming out. Since Vincent is really important to the story and he's like barely in Final Fantasy VII originally, his story is kind of
It's
important.
a vampire, baby.
And a bunch of other things. And
That's a big fat spoiler, Dally.
And all that.
The game is 30 years old.
I don't think he's gonna be a vampire this time around. They've already changed a bunch of stuff, so I mean, like, just don't. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do. So
And that was
bizarre.
that's what I've been playing. And of course, a lot of Marvel Snap and like family party games and things like that. But those are kind of the two. Still plugging away at Pokemon, chipping away at that game. I'm trying to figure out as soon as I finish Crisis Core, should I jump into Xenoblade 3?
yeah.
Or I want to, because I have to add in the what's it called? I have to have an RPG. Always have to have a big RPG to go through that I'm just constantly chipping away. Xenoblade 2 was 100 hours of my life this year in 2022. Xenoblade 3, I'm only going to be a year behind with Xenoblade 3, so that's actually good news because I know they're going to be releasing the extra story stuff later this year. So, but I might just. I
haven't finished it either. It's on my list for this week.
Xenoblade 3?
To finish it.
And Zach, you never finished it either.
I never finished it. I'm in the second to last chapter.
So I think I'm around there, maybe even further.
Yeah.
So. Excellent. All right. Well, let's move on to Taylor. Speaking of things that you're about to play. Let's talk about games that you are playing.
That I am playing. Well, I mean, I didn't play anything for the past 4 days before today, because that's what the holidays do. Nowadays. So today this is my break. Daughter still goes to daycare, but I'm not at work. And so I picked up, started, and finished Norco in one sitting.
Nice. How long of a game is it?
It's like 4 hours.
Okay.
It's like 4 to 6.
Yeah.
I'd say you expect around 5. At least,
okay.
It's 4 if you're playing fast and loose. When I'm playing this is basically a point and click adventure game.
Okay.
And when I play a point and click adventure game, I have to inspect everything and then interact with it. If you're just one of those people that are like, that's that thing I need, I'm going to interact with it without reading any of the other stuff about it, then this is going to take you. Literally, that'll save you 45 minutes. No lie. There's a lot of text in the video game. I found it weird that there was actually a battle. You just watch this. There's a battle mechanic in it. The first time I got to that portion, I was like, it was completely left field to me. I was like, I did not know what was going on. I mean, it's, I definitely have a very different take than Zach does, because it speaks very little to me by comparison, as far as, the intimacy of the setting. It's mostly just kind of a interesting sci-fi game with a specific backdrop to it. And, at least being in the US and knowing about the Bayou and Louisiana area, it's foreign to me, but it's not unknown. So it's just to me, it's just a setting, like anywhere else out there. So in that part, obviously the sci-fi of it becomes significantly more compelling than any other portion of it to it, which takes a little bit longer to develop. If you're from anywhere near this region, you're going to get hooked by the game itself first, and then the sci-fi will creep in. For me, I had the true interest is more of a slower burn, which I think is probably their intention. I don't think that they're going in with we're really going to get the Gulf folks with this one. That's not why they didn't really make the game with that as their angle. But yeah, I mean, as far as point and click adventures go, there's not really many that corner this type of angle, which is the futuristic dystopian version of what could become many of our coastal areas in the United States, which is a serious concern, and also corporate conglomerates and artificial intelligence and all. It hits a lot of those notes all at once, but does it in a very mature and intellectual way. It's a good game.
It's it's a good game because, like I was saying when I talked about it, like it hits home for me for a lot of reasons, but also like besides that, everything a part of it is so smart and so well realized, and actually kind of like on the precipice of what we're coming into now as like
it's very timely.
It's very just like like this feels like it is around the corner. It's very scary in that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, it's as silly as but it uses it all, and it also is very funny. It takes the idea of like the whole joke of birds aren't real and flips that on its head, and that's a whole subplot. Uploading your brain to a computer chip, and then is a part of it, and those are things that feel close but distant at the same time. So it feels like it could just be right around the corner, while at the same time feeling absolutely ridiculous. It treads the line very well.
Yeah, so whenever you play as Kay's mom, you integrate a lot with her phone. So there's apps that you get throughout the story, and there's an app you have where you take on like small little tasks for like a anonymous guy, and you get basically Bitcoin put into your account, and that is like, it's kind of just like we're already there as it's just so eerie, but the reason why she's doing it is even more sad.
And that's the one that's the part, like the reason why she's doing it. I'll say that it's medical related, and like the idea of that portion of the dystopian future is like already here for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Americans. So like that's like, that one is almost too close to home.
Yeah, and then like, so there's things like that, those layers, and then for me, whenever like I checked her text, because I just went in there like, let's read her text messages, and I saw her messages to Kay, and there's like an exchange that the mom and the daughter, the main character, I don't know if it's a girl, her name's Kay. There's an exchange in there that reminded me a lot of one I had with my mom, and like that's just like the moment where the game's kind of broke me. I was like, oh, like this has reached a level that I don't think I'll ever feel with the game before. It's kind of echoing how my mom and I used to talk and stuff. So it's a lot.
So. The last thing was that the other part, but especially by the end of the game, the thing that did resonate was, strip away some of the sci-fi and surrealistic portions of it, is how much of it anybody that has any family, whether you don't necessarily have to have kids, but if you do, if you have parents, if you have a sibling, that relation, and questioning whether or not, if you know who those people are or not, and the only way that you do is if you ask them to tell you, and how if you don't have that conversation you'll never know, was kind of like, for me, the overriding emphasis for the story.
It's a marvel of a game. There's just a lot you can just like unpack. It's such a dense 5-hour thing. Nice. There's just so much. There's even a whole subplot that we haven't even talked about because it's kind of hard to explain what it is. Taylor knows what I'm. The cult of the Garretts.
Yeah, I mean, like it would
it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah,
But,
it would
like,
spoil. It would spoil too much and require too much exposition to make it of any value here, unless we were going to say like, all right, everybody who's played Norco, hop in so we can discuss it. But it's like there's entire sections that it's just very prescient in the story that it tells on all of the subplots.
It's crazy.
It's a good game.
Yeah, it's good.
But other than that, I haven't started it yet. But on my list. Since this is, I got 3 more days. Gonna try and finish Xenoblade Chronicles. Gonna try and finish Elden Ring. I never beat it.
Okay.
I'm like 85% through that game too. I think I can do it. Maybe Disco Elysium will make it on there. Can't promise anything.
I put 25 minutes into that game, so I'm excited to go for it.
So you read one snippet of the game.
Yeah, I think I've put about the same. Maybe Signalis, but that one's probably going to get left behind if I had to guess.
Short.
Yeah, like I said, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
I'm envious because I don't get long play sessions anymore. My play sessions now are when I'm watching TV after dinner or before a workout or whatever. It's like it's very sporadic right now, and part of that is just the way work's been and the holidays and all that kind of stuff.
The last time that I sat and played a game from beginning to end was literally this time 1 year ago. Because it's that's the only time where my daughter got. I mean, what else are you gonna? That's put it this way: that power is in your hands, Dally. That is up to you to decide that you want to spend your time doing that.
Yep. I need to do that, and I've been on this workout streak. I've surpassed 1 year of hitting all the rings on this thing every day. Which
yuck. No thanks.
That is the one that's like, it's the one thing that kind of breaks up my day. That you kind of focus. You're like, okay, I got to hit the ring. That means I got to take for the next half hour. I've got to hop on the elliptical, and then I got. Like
I'm gonna beat Scorn too. Because I got to be like 80% through Scorn already.
You probably got like 10 more minutes.
I probably do. I think I unlocked like the last gun, so I'm gonna spend like 8 minutes with it and beat the game.
Anyway. Zach, what are you playing, brother?
Okay, so I recently acquired a PlayStation 5, so I've just been kind of
there. It is. He did it.
Digging into the catalog. I think the big takeaway for me that's important in this context is before, when I had a console, I had the base PS4 and I was in my room. I didn't have an amazing sound system, a 4K TV, all these things that I have now. But also, I never got the PS4 Pro. So I kind of skipped a generation, basically. So now coming to a console game and playing it at 60 frames a second is like, it's such an exhilarating experience because, like, one, that's like what I want every game to play at. Even on my PC, I just do 60 frames. Like I don't really care about going above that. So yeah, just kind of playing my PS5 in the living room, sound system in the dark has been like an amazing experience because everything runs well. Everything runs at 60 frames. I can put it at 30 if I want like RTX on, but I don't care about that really. But yeah, so I've been playing through just some games. My first game I beat was Spider-Man Miles Morales. I played that. I 100%ed that. I went through. Nice. I beat it. Yeah, I beat it last night. It's a really good game.
Like 7 hour, 8 hour experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably put in more than that because I 100%ed it. Sure. But yeah, it's good. I'm excited to see what they do. I think the writing could have been better because it's a lot about gentrification and like corporate takeover of lower income places. And they kind of shy away from talking about that. Like Miles goes, yeah, like people like me and my mom and my friends, like, yeah, people of color. You could have just said like they just kind of shy away from being as like using language that would make certain people mad, which I get. They're trying to make a game for everyone, but yeah, they could have like that kind of set weird with me, and also his dad being a cop and him. It was just kind of weird. But besides that, great, loved it. Fun game. Miles is cool. I like his tool set a lot. He's less strong as Pete, and it's just fun to play around. I'm excited to see what they do for Spider-Man 2, where they're going against Harry Osborn as Venom. I'm excited to see what they do with that. Yeah, because cool.
Nice.
Been playing that, so I beat that. Played God of War Ragnarok for like 5 hours. That's a good game too. Better than I thought it would be. Combat's fun. That's kind of all I have to say. My girlfriend likes it, so we're just kind of like, whenever instead of watching a show, where I'm playing an hour or two of that game, and that's just our thing. See, played that. I played Air, I think is what it's called. Is that game company's MMO? Sky.
Okay.
Yeah, I played Sky. They are having a musical event, which apparently had like millions of people there at once watching it, which is crazy. But that was cool. That's an interesting game, a very monetized game. But there's a lot of like, hey, you want the Journey skin for $30? Like, no, I'm good. But it's fun and interesting. It has that game company.
A social adventure game.
Yeah, you're just like walking around, people kind of like zone in, and you can help each other by like flying around and getting souls and things like that. That game's cool.
I actually played it on Switch a little bit, like a couple years ago or last year, whenever it first came out over there, and it's interesting to play it on a handheld platform. But then realizing, it's not, because it started on mobile, it started on phones, and then it made its way to consoles. So I guess it fits everything now.
Play that, interesting. But yeah, the monetization is crazy. Like, I was like, bro, $30 season pass. Okay.
You really got to be in the sky at that point. Yeah.
And then I played, I think my next game that isn't Crisis Core is going to be Ghost of Tsushima, the PS5 port. Because I didn't beat it on PS4 because one, I didn't have a Pro, so I was like, because at the time I was a PC gamer and I was playing Ghost of Tsushima at 30 frames a second, and like that's just that it honestly hurts my eyes. So there's a lot of PS4 games that I would buy and I was excited for, I wanted to play, that I wouldn't play because I just couldn't kind of handle that jarring moving between my systems. So now it's just kind of like everything is smooth, great, whatever. So I'm excited to play that. It looks cool. I did the tutorial. It looks really good. That game is like, whoa.
It was just on sale too for like $30. I have a favorites list on like Best Buy and Target and a bunch of other areas, and anytime it drops a certain point, I get a notification. It's like, damn, should I do it? Should I do it? I'm like, I probably should do it. And then the realization is like, when are you gonna play it, Dolly? Yeah, hold on.
Yeah. Well, it's involved. It's in the catalog, the PlayStation Plus catalog.
If you subscribe to Plus, right?
Yeah. So it's like it's in there. So it's like you don't have to like just spend those $17 or whatever to get it. Which the stuff they have in the catalog, there's a lot in there. I was actually shocked. Yeah, I was like, whoa, there's all these first party games I want to check out, except like Ratchet and Clank and Horizon. Well, I also have that game. Horizon, definitely the
second
best
one? Or the
yes, the second one. The first one is in there, the second one isn't yet.
Okay.
But yeah, I bought that, and that game is like definitely the best looking game I've ever played. Like, it's just like, whoa. Like that's just like a next level, like it, holy shit kind of like thing. Put 2 hours into it. Okay. I've just been dipping my toe in all these like next gen experiences. But now after I beat Miles Morales, now my game is Crisis Core, and I'm going to go through Crisis Core, Intergrade, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then the Yuffie thing. So I'm gonna play those 3. Yeah, it's like my next thing.
Nice.
But yeah, I've been playing Crisis Core, but I already talked about that. But yeah, the PS5, I wanted one just for Final Fantasy 16, just in general, but I'm actually kind of shocked how much I'm preferring it over my PC. It's just really comfortable just to sit on the couch and just chill. Like, okay, I'm gonna turn on the sound system.
And to me, that's I think that's why I always choose like console or stuff over typical PC. Or I mean, Steam Deck. I put Steam Deck in a part of the console thing because you're not going to get sidetracked by anything else popping up on your computer and for me on my whenever I play on the PC, like I get a notification or I get a tweet and I'm like, okay, I gotta let me check something here real quick. I have way more distraction on my PC, whereas on my Steam Deck or in front of a TV, it's like I can focus a little bit more on what I'm staring at. So
yeah, with me, I'm the type of person that I'm really like, I like to segment things. Like, okay. I don't like to go in my bedroom until it's time for bed. Sure. I don't like to sit on the certain part of the couch. If I'm not reading a book, I'm not going to sit on that side of the couch. I'm going to sit on this side of the couch when I'm watching a show. It's like stupid things like that I've like segmented things out. And like now it's like, because like I always had issues playing like RPGs or like long kind of JRPG games on my PC because like I just don't want to sit here and play those types of games with my controller. Like I'm just using a controller, right? The games I play on my PC are like MMOs or shooters or like competitive games, things like that. I love playing out on my PC, but I really do just heavily just like chilling on the couch playing, like grinding 20 hours in like a game. Like that's cool. Like that's what the couch is for. So yeah, now I'm excited to get back into that. Because a lot of my gaming time really is just playing Final Fantasy 14 or World of Warcraft or RuneScape because I'm on my computer, and it's kind of taking away. Because like there's only like super important games or like those like special games that come by every year that I'll just force myself to play it on my PC. It's kind of just been that way for a couple of years for me. So I'm excited to just have my place to like play those long games I didn't want to play in my PC. So. Yeah, I'm just shocked at how good the thing is, though. I was because I skipped the PS4, so it's just kind of new. But I skipped the PS4 Pro, so like this kind of stuff is new to me. I'm like, what, like the console can do this? Like that's crazy. It's just been fun. I've been having a ball.
Excellent. Nice.
And I can play every game that comes out now. It's got my PC, I got my Switch, I got my PS5. Like, I'm not limited anymore, and that feels good. Just on like a base like level, like I can play any game now. So, yeah.
Well, we're gonna get into more games that you're gonna be likely playing next year. I will say. I'm watching in the corner. I'm watching the Jeff Grubb shaving his head stream. God bless him. He's actually doing it because he was wrong about Metroid. I would love, by the way, for Nintendo to shadow drop Metroid Prime tomorrow. How great would that be?
Knowing Nintendo, they would choose a week like this to like drop something.
Right.
So
that would be beautiful. But
so I get it. You're shaving your head to be for solidarity with Jeff Grubb.
Let's do that. Yeah, sure. I'll do that. That's a good one. All right. Sounds good. That fits. But Jeff actually doesn't have any visible bald spots that I can see from this video, so that's all. I do. I'm a few years older than Jeffrey. We want to talk about things that we're looking forward to in 2023 and things that we're kind of predicting. It's gonna be a very interesting year ahead because so many things got delayed, and
so many things still don't have dates.
So many things still, like Starfield doesn't have a date, and Redfall just supposedly got delayed yet again into like later, and there's. It is a very interesting, and everything is very front loaded. Even things that we thought weren't going to come till later in the year, like Street Fighter or Final Fantasy 16, they've got firm dates now. They're like, oh, it's happening this day. It's June, March, June. So here's what you guys are. Well, I'm going to read I'm gonna read JJ's what he's excited about, and then that'll help us kind of springboard. So, Metal Slug Tactics because JJ.
Because JJ.
Final Fantasy 16, Jedi Survivor, Tears of the Kingdom, Street Fighter 6, and he's actually really excited about Nintendo World at Universal Studios. I'll get into his predictions in a little bit, but it is he's got some solid ones there. I think it's in line with a lot of the things that other things that we're looking forward to as well. I'm glad he put the Nintendo World there at Universal Studios because
I'm not.
You're not going to fly out to California. I'm actually interested in that. I do love parks and theme parks. I'm hopeful to make it this year. I'm going to be reserving my flight for E3, so I'm kind of checking out like, okay, if I fly in on this day, whatever, then I might be able to get a day or two, ahead of time and get a day into Universal Studios. That could be something, but yeah, I don't know. I'd like to check it out. I'd rather go to the one in Florida, but I like Universal Studios just in general. But yeah, he chose some non-gaming things. There's gaming movies coming out in 2023 as well. The Mario one, which should be
I'm excited for Mario
movie. Yeah. But what are you guys excited about for 2023? I mean, there's so much we don't know about. And feel free to just mix predictions in there too. I mean,
Suikoden 1 and 2 remake.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's right. I forgot that was coming out. Good call on that one.
And definitely Dragon Quest 3 remakes coming out.
Yeah,
I actually am also interested in Suikoden 1. I've never played either one, and I've never played any Suikoden games. But I feel like
I haven't either. But I'm excited.
I feel like those are going to go great on Steam Deck.
No, it's time. It's time for both you and I, and they're going to go great on modern platforms.
Anyway, Zach, what else you got? Come on. I want to. I didn't make my own list, but I made my list of like things I think Zach is going to bring.
Yeah, so Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake is for sure coming out next year. It's the 35th anniversary for Dragon Quest 3. So,
do you think they'll drop DQ12 next year as well if HD 2D is earlier in the year?
Probably. I think so.
You think so?
Yeah,
Square doesn't have anything for the back half of the year.
Yeah, they usually do 2 big games a year, 3 games. So yeah, why not? It's been in the works for like 4 years now. It's kind of around that time. So yeah, that is cool. And then let's see what else. The Harry Potter game looks cool.
Have you flipped on that? Have you?
Yeah, I definitely have flipped on it after seeing like more gameplay and like how it actually plays and just kind of like the world in general. And this, I like where it's set. It's set like a couple hundred years before the books, so there's a lot of room for them to just do things differently. And I'm just excited that it's like a pure RPG open world kind of thing. And I'm also like, I've always been a big Harry Potter fan, so like because I was raised on it. It's just kind of it's like ingrained in me with like a lot of other people. So I would be lying if I said I wasn't excited to like put my head in there and actually explore it. That's always been like a dream as like a kid. Like I want to go to Hogwarts, So I'm actually excited about that on my PS5. Gonna be fun. Final Fantasy 16, obviously. I think that's on everyone's list. That's exciting.
You're missing one.
I'm trying to think.
You're missing one. It starts with an S.
And ends with a Tarfield?
No.
Ends with a
starts with a story.
Oh yeah, the Story of Seasons remake that comes out. Which one is it? A Wonderful Life.
A Wonderful Life.
It's
currently slated for Q3.
Yeah, well, it's June. It's coming out in June.
Oh, is that? Did they say June?
Yeah, it's coming out in June, like the day before 16 comes out. I think it's like they're right by each other.
Nice. A movie about Jimmy Stewart
and
a holiday movie.
Classic.
Yeah, I mean, besides that, there's, I mean, Zelda, duh.
Yeah,
like it's just
Zelda,
kind of
for that,
I mean, Jedi Survivor, like Street Fighter 6. I mean, there's a ton of amazing games coming out. I think the more exciting ones are the ones that we don't know about.
Yes,
like there's definitely ones that.
Yeah, so like that was kind of going to be my main thing was that like, we have the unknown of the known unknown, which is the likelihood of Switch successor or whatever we're going to end up detailing that to be. I was not quite successor because I think there's going to be quite a bit of overlap from Nintendo for a while, but with that is going to come a lot of stuff that hopefully Nintendo has managed to keep under wraps. That is usually how they operate. Whenever we learn about the release of that console, we will inevitably hear about probably 2 titles, maybe at minimum 1, more likely 2, that we haven't heard of before. The PR lead time with the Breath of the Wild sequel is unusually long.
Yeah,
I feel like for Nintendo stuff.
If you think back to the reveal of the Switch, they did an event in January and they launched the Switch 4 months later.
Right.
2 months later. 2 months.
2 months later.
March,
it's in March. Yeah. So I mean, they could literally do that this time again.
I mean, granted, they announced the Switch in October of 2016.
Right.
Yeah.
Still, I don't know.
But they do have. I mean, Nintendo does have a bunch of games coming out that first half of the year.
Advance Wars 2 remake.
Oh no!
But they got that Kirby game. They got Fire Emblem. There's the You got games like Theater Rhythm, which I'm actually really excited about.
I forgot that's coming out. Yeah, yes.
And the one I had on there, Octopath Traveler 2, because of course I had Octopath Traveler 2.
I'm hoping. See, here's the thing. That team, they actually take feedback pretty well.
Yes,
that's true.
So I'm excited for them to be like, hey, let's make a game with a story, and let's like.
And they've said that there's actually going to be a story in this game. So they did take the feedback.
Well, and also like they saw Live Alive, which is arguably one of the main spiritual inspirations for kind of what is Octopath and what Octopath was trying to do. They saw it, I'm assuming, do pretty well, and we'll be like, "Yep, all right, time to do it again."
Yeah, and it's also launching on everything. It's not just going to be stuck on the Switch. So that's also
right now. It's PlayStation and Nintendo and PC, I believe.
Yes, I mean that's everything.
They're breaking out. I mean, which is good. I mean, it's very. It is still the good for me and a general Square Enix enjoyer to watch the breakout of the strangleholds. I mean, it was nice to even see things creep onto the Switch, because whether or not Sony specifically carved it out, or because Square Enix specifically carved it out, because they went to Sony and be like, listen, you can restrict everything, but you can't pull us off a Switch because Square Enix wanted to sell there. Whichever it was, that was already nice. But now that they're like, all right, listen, the sales are too good on PC. Like, I don't know. I don't care what angle it's coming from. I'm just happy that it's happening because it's really, really nice.
Except Final Fantasy 16, man. That thing's stuck.
Listen, the ongoing rumors are still 6 months.
Yeah.
Which honestly is pretty good. My main chat room on my main Discord is dedicated to Final Fantasy. They're not going to shut the hell up about it.
I can't avoid it. Like, I need to play that game like immediately, so I just don't get that spoiled. So
no, God, nobody's got Forspoken on their list. So what's up, guys? What's the matter?
I played that demo, man.
They mentioned the Bayonetta game, the Cereza game, so that's coming out this year. Pikmin 4. I'm excited about Pikmin 4 actually, because I'm a huge Pikmin nut. But also, indie wise, so one thing that I love is the unexpected indie games that arrive throughout the
Yes.
year. Like this year, like we've been
Yes.
seeing and hearing about Curse to Golf for a while, and then it finally arrived this year, and I loved it. And Norco arrived this year, and you loved it. And then like there were games that popped up, the Hobbs, whatever, the game that the point and click
JJ
game,
like,
click game that it's JJ like. So I am excited about those games that are announced and dropped within this year. Not just like the big AAA games, but those games are exciting to me because there's always something cool out of the indie world. I mean, speaking of indie, like that Mina the Hollower game, I'm just looking at lists of games right now. Mina the Hollower from the Shovel Knight
Yacht
devs.
Club.
I mean,
yeah.
Yep. So that's a really cool one. Demon School, I think I remember Demon School vaguely. That we talked about.
The biggest thing with the biggest issue with indie stuff is that there's less concrete details about release windows and stuff like that. So like,
that's why they're so cool.
Yeah. I mean, which is fun. I mean, it adds to the mystery aspect of it. Sometimes that's kind of nice, but it's also really hard to say this is what I'm excited about in 2023 because no fucking idea.
Correct.
We could have been talking about Tunic coming out for the last 7 years, and it just didn't happen.
There's at least 2 of those.
I mean, Silksong, that ain't coming this year. I wouldn't count on it.
I was gonna say it's on my list of like it might happen this year.
It could. It could.
Yeah. There's another indie game called Radio the Universe that has been talked about and shown off on indie game Twitter for the last 8 years, and I think it might be coming out finally.
It's just one of those things that's like not going to make it. It's obviously a lot of a lot of sites are going to be running their list of stuff coming in 23. Yeah. Like that's the kind of it's not going to be on any of their lists because there's no PR, and that PR is how these lists are assembled, and that's sometimes it's one of the reasons why stuff flies completely under the radar because when you don't have PR saying, here's when my game's coming out, you can't get on the list, you can't get SEO, et cetera, et cetera.
That's why you'd be like me and you DM the devs on Twitter. You ask them for codes.
Totally. Do that nonstop. That's why I love doing that, and we get a lot of great feedback from devs.
But I'm going to throw on a couple of things from my list, which are the full release of The Wandering Village. It's currently in early access, and I played it for like 8 hours. I'm kind of past the point where I want to keep going on anything that's early access beyond getting the taste of it. I hit that point, and I'm just going to drop it until it releases. I don't want to ruin it by trying to overplay an incomplete game, at least in my opinion. Terra Nil, another one of the ones, which is still cool.
Think, right? Or
one of the what?
One of our PAX East games, if I remember correctly.
It was at PAX East, but it was also it did a lot of the rounds on the Steam Next Fest for 2 different ones. But yeah, I mean, like that one kind of morphed because it looked like something that it turned out to be something different when I played the demo, but the demo was still cool because it's like this super atmospheric puzzle game, which is fine with me. That works out. And there was another one. I don't give a shit about Starfield.
I mean, Gunbrella is one I'm excited about.
Gunbrella
should be good.
Our good friends at Doinksoft.
Oh, that's
Follow me on Twitter.
I don't really. I mean, Gunbrella is going to come and go, and it's going to be fine for me. If Hades 2 hits early access in 23, I will buy it early access because I will not be able to help myself.
What if it's only coming to Playdate in early access? Would you buy a Playdate for that? The little yellow Playdate with a crank.
No.
What if it's only coming to the Epic Game Store like Hades 1?
Then I will be very sad. And I will do unspeakable things. What else? Do we care about the new Fatal Frame game? That's kind of slightly interesting.
It's a remake.
It's the remake. That's right.
It's a port.
I'm scrolling the list. Hold on. Don't yell at me.
I'm yelling at you.
Persona 4 and Persona 3 coming to Games Pass.
Yeah.
It's in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's coming real soon.
Nice. All those games. Yeah, it'll be good.
Anything else?
The One Piece RPG looks cool. Like,
looks fine.
That's the only one I care. Like, I'm the only one that cares about it. So,
Resident Evil 4 remake. Everybody's asking for it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's coming out this year. Oh my god, I forgot that was coming out this year.
That's
Dead
like
Island 2.
March.
Dead Island 2. Yeah, eventually this year.
That game has been
Gollum.
And then
Gollum.
the Gollum game is finally
Gollum game ain't coming out in 22 or in 23. Street Fighter 6, I'll say partially interested. Diablo 4, partially interested. I'm curious how they're gonna fuck that up.
That's all first half of the year shit, man. All this first half of the year stuff, it's just gonna be bonkers,
pushed.
Dude.
We're gonna to be talking about it for the first 4 months. The amount of shit that gets pushed.
Starfield's November, guaranteed.
Yeah, it has to be in November.
There's no way you can't put, because you're gonna have Redfall now is delayed until internally they've said delayed until late spring, which could be May, and you're not gonna put Starfield out right at the same time as Final Fantasy 16 and Street Fighter, and right after Redfall. It's like, yeah.
Also, Xbox has a lot of PR they need to do first, because they still really need to cover, like, hey, this isn't coming to the PlayStation 5. Sorry, like,
they never really said
they
it.
haven't really softened that blow yet. They haven't done that press tour yet that they need to do. So when that happens, that's when that game is going to be out.
Yeah.
Because
we will know 4 months. 4 months ahead of the launch, we will actually know.
Yeah,
is pretty much how it's going to go. And the last thing, of course, is Final Fantasy 16. Although I won't be playing it in June, I will be playing it
in 2025
in January, probably
in Jan, most likely. Because like I think that they will probably end up on the going rumor of 6 months, or maybe they say that calendar year, and then it'll be Jan 23 or Jan 24 at that point.
Yeah, the going rumor for remake was 6 months, but it turned out to be a year. So
right. So we'll see how it irons out. I mean, the trend has been going shorter and shorter, because I think, if I had to guess, the reason why that would happen to me is because the PC sales keep getting better and better, and Square gets to put the pressure onto Sony and be like, listen, you can ask for it, but it's going to keep costing you more and more to get these extended time windows because the sales are too good for us to pass up. So, at some point, Sony is not going to keep ponying up the ever-increasing
cost.
The ever-increasing cost to be able to stipulate that amount of exclusivity, because Square wants the sales. Like, they don't. At the same time, Square Enix doesn't want to put that much of a time in between because it doesn't line up with their with a fractioned or a fractured PR push. It's easier to sell to more places at once. It's the reason why Activision's PR machine works as well as it does, because it launches everywhere all at once every year.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, I love that movie. I actually have to watch that movie. Thank you for the reminder.
You got a few more days after that.
Every year, every once, all the years.
All the years.
So, Playland had a good question about you mentioned the Switch, and there's actually digital, what's the name? Digital, what's the name of the company? The podcast, the video
Digital
podcast.
Foundry.
Digital Foundry, thank you.
Oh.
Their podcast today, they mentioned that they said, they had heard that there was the Switch, it was going to be a Switch Pro coming out, and then that got basically the same thing we had kind of insinuated or assumed, is that Nintendo was working on some type of upgraded Switch, maybe not a full Switch Pro, but something adjusted, and then because of the chip shortages the last couple years, ended up just pumping out an OLED because those screens were available. They're not related to chips. So they seem to corroborate that a little bit right now.
Well,
but
they said that on their podcast like just now.
Just now, we're like, yeah, great, thanks for like a year and a half.
I was gonna say we said that like 18 months ago.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
that was.
It's news now.
Yeah, all right.
The thing that is impressive, I guess, about this is Digital Foundry are not known for ever lying. Really,
That's
they're
true.
pretty.
They have a stellar
Yeah.
track record.
So it's coming out now for sure. But yeah, it's. I posted the thing about it in the Discord, showing like all the tweets from like Jason Schreier and other people. Like, oh yeah, the next Mario Rabbids game is gonna come out on the Switch Pro. It's like nobody knew about this, and now it's finally like there's a SKU out there that someone saw.
So I mean, I think his Playland's question was: do we think the follow-up Switch, whatever's coming out in 2023, is that going to be a Switch Pro, a Switch 2, something else?
It's gonna be like the upgrade between the 3DS and the new 3DS. It's gonna be like a little small, like
I don't think
power
I
jump.
kind of agree with you.
I think it's going to be slightly bigger than that jump, but it will be similar in the sense.
Not gonna be anything big.
Yeah, in the sense that it will have more. It will run games better.
God, I hope so.
Well, I know, right? It kind of has to. But you know, it's not. It will keep all of the library of the current Switch. I would guess that we're not going to start to see a breakaway. If we do see a breakaway at all of compatibility, it won't be for the first 12 to 18 months. But it would not surprise me. It's going to happen. It's going to happen where eventually there is going to be a game that comes out that only works with the new Switch Pro, or whatever they end up calling it. You know, because what were the ones? There were a few games that only worked on the new 3DS, right? Xenoblade Chronicles.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
And the Fire Emblem Warriors game that was out.
One of them.
It was we're in 3 or 4 games total.
But yeah, I that library is going to be bigger this time around. That's my gut. There's no way they have to do more of it. There has to be more of a jump this time compared to what they did with the 3DS, just because, you know, again, they're no longer running a 2 major SKU operation like they used to when it was 3DS and the Wii U. Back then, you know, for major, because they still want third-party dev and they want ports and that kind of thing. When they were doing that, they didn't have to worry about the power of their handheld as much because the Wii U was more closely aligned, still weak. But they could talk to their third-party partners and be like, listen, you know, this machine is more powerful. Please develop for this. Switch is now that unit. So they can't be left behind too far by the PS5 and Series X, where to the point that they can't receive ports anymore. There's no way that the cloud SKUs are doing well enough to justify abandoning those ports. There's no way. It can't be. There's just not enough of a market for it. So they want those third parties. They want those ports. They've been doing very well on Switch. So you know they have to do something. The jump is going to be bigger than the 3DS one. That's where
I think it'll be probably similar to a PS4 Pro level jump. And in all reality, I think it's going to be PS4 Pro level power, very close to that, mostly because that's what's sort of similar to the Series S. And I think if you can start getting closer to the Series S, then you have a viable long-term device. I think what Nintendo, I think you nailed it on the head. What Nintendo wants is to get those third-party companies to pump content out for their device, not just the Rabbids games, you know, which are great, not just the Starlink, which was great, but you want you know, not just indies, which are great, because those indies sell to us, but they don't generally sell to the mass public. The mass public wants Nintendo is hanging on by the skin of their teeth with EA's FIFA games, even though they're the legacy titles. The legacy Switch FIFA games outsell the PlayStation FIFA games in Japan, and that's a stupid number, but Nintendo wants that, and because FIFA in the East is on old games on Nintendo platforms, unfortunately. So they want to keep that, I think, in they want to get other
It's not
games
going to
on
be
there
FIFA
too. Whatever,
anymore.
yeah,
Golly.
EAFC.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Correct. Thank you for correcting. No, but they want to keep those. They want to keep those games on there. They want, and that I think it means that it's going to be more powerful. And he asked, and here's another question: we'll have a new gimmick, or the truly just iterate? I think just going to iterate power wise. No, there's no gimmick. You
No
will,
gimmick, please.
I think they're happy with the gimmick that they got.
I think anything you'll see is likely in the OS side, and that could include some more social features. That can include the cloud gaming stuff, like if Game Pass becomes a thing with Nintendo. Because remember, Microsoft wants to get Call of Duty on Switch, right? So you can't do that with the current Switch. You need to put that on an upgraded Switch. And if you're gonna do that with cloud, that might be the easiest way to do it, through Game Pass, I should say, not just typical cloud stuff. And if there's any company that can deliver cloud, it's Microsoft. If there's,
they're gonna do that's. Trust me, that's what they mean. Zach and I are having a nodding war, but unfortunately, that's what Microsoft means when they say that.
And
they're gonna put the Call of Duty mobile on,
which, granted, that makes a shit ton of money for Activision Blizzard. But no, I think the next Switch is going to have more stuff built into the OS. I think they're going to get into a little bit more of that aspect and more of the cloud stuff. So no gimmick, but a more. I think you'll finally get that Switch console. It feels like you'll finally get that Switch console that's able to handle a Pokemon game, and then you'll need a Pokemon game designed for.
It's not the Switch's fault that game runs bad.
I feel like I want to imagine the parallel universe where it turns out that was an open source game and they just they put it on a PS5 and it still runs like shit.
Right? Yeah.
No, so here's this. I have this vision of Nintendo revealing the next console, like their next power thing, but they have performance modes and quality modes. I'm trying to think of a way that Nintendo would Nintendoize that. Like, what would their cutesy names for that be? Because if they have that, it's gonna have some cutesy Nintendo name for it. And I'm just trying to think what are they gonna do if that ever
cutesy name for what?
For a performance mode or a quality mode for their games.
Sure.
You can run the Breath of the Wild 2
in power up mode.
Power up mode, or you can play it on something stupid.
But you have to
Can you imagine the Switch Superstar mode?
Oh, dude.
You can play it on Superstar mode. That's a Nintendo thing that they would do. So I'm just kind of trying to think.
Nintendo is a very unique. I was thinking about this earlier today too. Nintendo's in a very unique position because you look at the shrinking floor space for video games at major retailers, right? As Microsoft and Xbox and Sony and PlayStation start moving away from discs and start selling digital only games, the only things that they're you go to Target and the Xbox area is just one row of Xbox now, and it's consoles, and there are consoles, headphones, one little tiny rack of games because you get everything digitally, and Game Pass cards, headphones. It's all accessories. It's not really the games anymore, and that's shrinking floor space. Now, what Nintendo has is, they got those accessories, they got their IP, they got toys. Amiibo doesn't really sell anymore, but they got figurines, they got the tie-in to Lego, they got their plushes, they got all that kind of stuff, and
they got their bags and stuff.
The bags, and their area is the biggest at Best Buy. And at Target and all that kind of stuff, because they do have that strong IP, and Sony and Microsoft don't have that kind of strong family-friendly retail IP, I should say, yet. And so I really feel like Nintendo is going to continue to lean in heavy on that kind of stuff, and retail really needs a boost anyways. I'm surprised they don't sell video game shirts at Best Buy, because people would buy the shit out of that stuff over there, because that's where everybody goes. People don't go to GameStop anymore. It's a dying company. They will legit go to Target and Best Buy, and they'll go to the video game section and they'll buy the t-shirts at Target. And there's no t-shirts at Best Buy. But yeah, I think you're going to see more of that, and I think Nintendo's very happy selling that kind of stuff. And I feel like there won't be any like weird gimmicky things this year from Nintendo, like Labo or any of that kind of stuff. I just think I think you will get a Switch. I'm pushing it towards the second half of the year now. I don't think it's going to happen with Zelda because they can sell you Zelda. Everyone's going to buy a Switch that doesn't have one for Zelda.
I feel like
Pikmin.
that's possible.
And then
I feel like it's possible. I feel like it's really bad for Nintendo.
Well, listen, the second half
they've done it before.
But the second half of the year, you can drop that new Switch, the Switch Plus or whatever, and say, by the way, this Switch here plays all those old games, but now plays them better. So now, and it's a sales boost for all of those games. So, and a hardware sales boost, because now all of us who are like, yeah, the Zelda kind of ran like ass a little bit, and it was the Switch's fault this time. Now you'll get that boost in performance if you buy the new Switch at the end of the year. And I think it's good enough for them because they can promote the hell out of that kind of stuff at E3. And that's an easier marketing pitch for them to say, hey, listen, we're going to have a new console the second half of the year. It's launching in September or October or whatever. But every game you buy now, play it now. It'll be better when it launches. And then when it does launch, they can actually start showing off a lot of that kind of stuff. Like, check out all the cool things that you can do with this new Switch. But I also think you're going to have you're going to have a new Xbox hardware this year and probably the new PlayStation hardware. I think the new Xbox hardware, whether it's the streaming puck device or the Xbox R that we kind of talked about a little bit that Microsoft's still trying to figure out, or some combination, I think that's coming this year, because they really do need to figure out what they're doing with their hardware. The Series S is killing it. Globally, I think the Series S is like what everybody wants. So how do you get a more powerful Series S? How do you jack up the price on that a little bit? I think the Xbox gamer is savvy enough to just go completely digital these days because of Game Pass. But now they want that high performance Game Pass because of Series S. People are starting to say, we wish there's some more power in the Series S that we can utilize. So I think you'll probably get something this year out of Microsoft, whether it's a streaming device or a digital only Series X type of thing. And then I think you'll get, and Sony needs to update that PS5 now that there's finally enough out there. I feel like it's hit its kind of weird little peak in a way, because
I think it's peaks because there's not any games.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's not.
I think
I'm
that
not as certain as on PlayStation as I am, but
yeah, I'm gonna take my my guesses and be like, that's definitely not gonna happen. That Sony is moving a new piece of hardware this year or next 23, and that's the PSVR 2. They ain't dropping anything else. They're not going to put out a new PS5 SKU.
Tom Henderson keeps saying that they are over at Inside Gaming, whatever.
I'm not an insider, so I could easily be wrong. But like, why would you? I feel like it hits bad sentiment to consumers, which are still having trouble buying it, or have had trouble buying it in the last over the recurring 12 months. I feel like there's no winning in dropping a new PS5 SKU. Nothing's pushing it that far. What's the average resolution on a television screen in a PS5 owner's home?
4K probably at this point, I'm guessing.
I would say average would be like 1080 still.
1080
It's got to be 1080.
But I see. So an updated PS5 isn't a Pro. An updated PS5
like
is
a slim.
A slim is how can we make more? How can we squeeze more bucks out of the PlayStation 5? Because they've already redone it like a couple times, and in fact, the current PlayStation 5 that's out there is lighter because they've changed some of the stuff on the interior.
Okay, so we're not talking about a half generation upgrade. We're just talking about
no way.
Just a model, like a slim version or model rev to make it. That's why the idea of the external disk drive is kind of interesting, because Sony wants to push people towards digital, and that way they can squeeze even more bucks that way. And having an external disk drive, their main device now is just a driveless PS5. It's the digital PS5 in a slimmer body, slightly less monolithic looking.
Maybe they could actually put in something, a larger hard drive in there.
Maybe. But yeah, I think it's not going to be something that it's not a mid tier. It's not a pro or anything like that. No, you wouldn't want to do that. No, I think Zach, you're right. I think it's just going to be a slim. It's just something to get them some more bucks right now.
God knows it needs a slim. That thing's fucking gigantic.
Exactly. And I think that is a turnoff for folks around the world. It's giant.
What do you mean no?
Massive.
No. I was just shaking my head, just saying because it's nasty. That's why I was shaking my head. Like, that thing's nasty.
Oh, it is. It's an ugly design.
Yeah, it's ugly.
It's so bad.
Just like the original PS3 was a stupid giant.
It's hidden behind my TV. Like I don't see it. It's just like I push it.
Turns every TV into a CRT. It's basically that deep. But yeah, no, I think they need to do something like that and then make it a little more elegant and clean it up.
All right. So how about this? I know that we're at 120, but what is a thing that you just straight up want? It's not based in reality necessarily, obviously, but like what is it that you want to see? Like whether, obviously we're working within the confines here. We're not talking about stupid shit. Like I want to see Drakengard 4, like we know that's not coming, but you can mess with it a little bit, but what is it that you want to see?
Oh, hey, there's definitely going to be a Final Fantasy XIV expansion next year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so look
I
forward
thought they
to
were
that.
done.
No, 6.3 launches in January. So that's the one before the expansion. They're doing the big press event in the summer, so that's coming. Anyways, pie in the sky. Let's think here.
Because I got one. I was just fiddling. I was fiddling with my Switch game case, and so this one popped into my head, which is release this game, free it from the confines of the Switch. This Shin Megami Tensei 5, let it free. I want it.
That's the game that needs to be a more powerful console.
That game needs to be on my Steam Deck now.
I'm gonna throw out that. I'd love to see speaking of Square Enix stuff in RPGs, I'd love to see the realization of Final Fantasy VI being a better game overall than 7. I love Final Fantasy VI. Absolutely love it. I love the depth that it has in there. And I'd love to see, I don't know if it needs to have this Final Fantasy VII remake aspect to it, but I'd love to see a 6 update that just has something that, because there's so much awesomeness to 6 that I think is still sitting out there. So they could, I think it still could happen. But yeah, that, and then God, I'm trying to think of what else. Mass Effect, the real Mass Effect 4. Get some info on that thing, which is coming out this year.
No.
You said pie in the sky. You can't shake your head no.
I'm shaking my head no because it's a choice. Because this is no good.
It's not good. Suck it.
Zach?
Shuck it long.
I don't know. Anytime he's like, it's just like Death Stranding 2. Just
we already know it's coming.
I know, just like it comes out in October. I don't know. Like
just make it come sooner.
That's what my mind jumps to. Like besides that, I wouldn't mind Silk Song actually existing.
Okay.
Existing.
I still feel like that's
Beyond
like
Good and Evil 2 actually exists.
Dude, it still feels vaporware.
Yeah.
Yeah. Silk Song?
We haven't seen any gameplay of it. It's just like a trailer like with art. Like yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think something else.
We're
like
5 years, by the way. Or not 5. We are right now. We're 2 years. We'll be 3 years removed from Doom Eternal.
Oh my god!
So in next year, so another Doom or Wolfenstein game or Quake. I know JJ's prediction. I'm gonna read his
Quake
prediction.
remake would be so cool.
Yeah. So JJ said He's going to predict another new Metroid game that isn't Prime 4. I mean, there could be the HD remakes or maybe another side-scrolling one.
Super Metroid remake.
There you go. That would actually be badass. There you go.
Would it though? I don't trust that shit for one fucking bit.
Do it in the Dread engine.
Yeah,
just like
dude.
make it like, I don't know.
Maybe.
He also said new Final Fantasy Tactics, whether it's either a remake or new game. And then
okay, now we're talking.
Gimme.
Now we're talking.
Would you do an HD 2D remake of Final Fantasy Tactics, or would you want a whole new Tactics game?
I just want
They'll probably do an HD 2D remake.
No, do what they did to Tactics Ogre.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Yep.
They've already kind of done it once. War of the Lions was like they kind of already did it.
Yeah.
That was a PSP version? Is that what that one was?
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of pseudo redid it, added more content. I mean, what I want them to
Sony
take
is big into the remakes right now.
I know, unfortunately,
big into the remakes.
There's a limit. I feel like to some degree. I don't know. I want it to receive the same treatment that Final Fantasy Tactics Advance received. When it comes to like, I want a new Final Fantasy Tactics game, except give it the love and care that Final Fantasy Tactics got, because that game fucking ruled.
Yeah. Here's my new one, Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
Just whether it's a HD 2D remake or whether it's a full game, like a Chrono Trigger 3 or whatever they want to call it, I'd love for go back to Chrono Trigger. Bring me more.
A Chrono Trigger remake.
That's a unicorn. What do they call it? A golden. That's the white whale for a lot of folks that they want to see something Chrono Trigger related.
Here's what's going to happen. It's going to be Chrono Trigger remake, and it's going to be by Tetsuya Nomura, and everyone's going to be mad because he's going to ruin it.
Because the frog is going to stand as tall as everybody else and be a human size.
He's gonna do what he did to Final Fantasy VII remake, which is admittedly really cool, but fans hated it. But yeah, just like I don't know. Kingdom Hearts 4, more stuff about that. I don't need the game, but I would like some more info.
Like the fact that we already know it exists is like kind of already mind blowing to me.
Yeah, and we've seen gameplay ish of it, which is basically like reused from Versus 13, so it's kind of like, it's been there. But
I gotta play Chrono Cross, huh?
Yeah, that's a game.
Yeah, I never played it.
No, I liked Chrono Cross a lot. I don't love the remake or the remaster that they did, but Chrono Cross is a good.
I mean, I got a machine that can play PS1 games. I should probably play that video game.
Playland saying New Castlevania. I'd love a new Castlevania.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. Just make
me a Game Boy Advance Castlevania and put it on all current systems.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Yep. New Mystical Ninja. I used to love the Mystical Ninja games on the Super NES and stuff. New Shinobi game. Sega do an actual new Shinobi game. Pokemon Unite for PC. We keep saying that's like a slam dunk for them, but they're so afraid to do it.
No, they'll never do it.
So much money for them. God.
Do you know what would be cool? A Ninja Gaiden reboot, but like a Souls-like, kind of like Neo.
Sure.
Push
it even more in that direction. Push it even more that direction. I like that. Yeah, because the Ninja Gaiden games were admittedly,
but give me like like Ninja Gaiden 1 on Xbox. Give me like that kind of like fast.
That's what I'm. Yeah. Because Team Ninja can pump out games, so just be like, hey, come on.
So good. There's a lot of stuff to look forward to, and feel free to throw more.
I can't believe that all those things are coming too.
Everything's coming for sure.
Yes, Death Stranding 2, October 22nd.
2023 is going to be an amazing. I have a feeling it's going to be an amazing year. We don't know anything else that's coming out. We talked about it at some point earlier this year that games that have started during the pandemic, now people have kind of figured out the plan. Like we're now kind of finalizing the games that were meant to be released in 2020, 2021, like stuff that was nearing completion. Starfield, Suicide Squad, Redfall. All these games were meant to be released in like 2020, 2021, but kept getting pushed back. So now those are getting released. I think games that started during the pandemic and this kind of the whole new work environment, people kind of figured out how to do certain things. So those, I think, are a little more solid in terms of how things are getting done. So I think 2023 is going to be a pretty amazing year.
There's a reason why 2021 and 2022 were overran by indie games.
Yeah, it was. Yep. Because indies, this is how indies work. It's always been remote. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a fun year for games, for games and gaming and gamers like us and like you, our beautiful viewers and listeners. We hope that your 2022 is fantastic. This is going to be our last episode before the new year. Thank you for joining us this year. It was a really fun year for us. Surprise! We were just going over just some of the weird accomplishments that we did with SideQuesting. Getting our logo in a freaking official Nintendo video was mind blowing for us. If you haven't, check out the House of Indies
Day 5.
Yeah, Day 5, the big one where they announced a bunch of stuff there and they showed Sports Story and all that kind of stuff. But they listed Dust and Neon, and Dust and Neon. There's our big logo right at the very beginning of the video, SideQuesting, which was awesome. Game of the year, game of the show at PAX. So no, it's been an awesome year for us. And that's happened. We're on Amazon. Our logo is on Amazon and on Best Buy's websites for games. So it's it's a really cool, successful year for us. Looking forward to next year, having fun, being at PAX, being at E3, and getting together in person more often if we can, and just having fun. So yeah, we look forward to doing it with all of y'all. With that said, we want to wish you again a very happy holiday season, happy New Year. You can find us sidequesting.com, SideQuesting TV on YouTube and on Twitch. Please just go through the videos and just hit like. It helps so much in getting our viewership up and getting noticed, and I think that helps for the developers who want to get their stuff shown to us, shown to the public. Like, they will come to us if they see that we're actually getting more views, which we are. So it's always awesome. You can find us individually at Dolly Domofsky, at OKQuest, at Taylor Bliss, but most importantly, find us in the Discord, where we have a lot of fun. We just had our Secret Santa. That was a blast. We got a lot of cool things. I think there's still a couple presents that are still on the way, which will be a lot of fun to see the reactions from those. And we'll do some fun stuff for next year. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. But with that said, we'll let you go and see you all on the next episode of the Side Quest. Bye.